Good afternoon, guys. It is Wednesday, January the 18th, and man, this has been hell on earth today. Trying to get this video done and just all the challenges. Woke up this morning and went to the gym, did my run, came back, sat down, started doing my notes, and even did a few takes of this, and all hell broke loose at work. And then just other things popping up all throughout the morning. I'm just now getting to the point where I feel like I can do this. So I want to start off by saying I'm glad I got to see you guys last night, of being able to meet with you guys face to face at least once a week, being able to share our experience, strength, and hope with each other. It means the world to me. And I've said it 1,000 times. I'll continue saying it. You guys are the reason why I stay sober. So I want to thank you guys for that. Today, my topic today, anyway, and this is why I'm still doing this even in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. What's your level of motivation? Very simple question. How motivated are you to do something, to set a goal? And we're going to be talking about goals over the next several days. We're talking a lot about goals, goal setting strategies, goal attaining strategies, things like that. But for now, I want to ask you, how motivated are you to achieve a specific goal? Maybe your goal is to get into shape. Maybe your goal is to start eating right. Maybe your goal is to get clean and sober. Okay, those are great goals. I was notorious. I'd say I wanted to lose 20 pounds. And I would, somebody said, well, how are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to show up to the gym 5 days a week at 7 o'clock in the morning and exercise for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 7 o'clock in the morning. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to lose 20 pounds. And to the common observer, that sounds like that should be up pretty high up there on that level of motivation, right? If I were to say, well, I'm going to show up to the gym 1 day a week at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and only work out for 10 minutes. That sounds like it'd be pretty low on my level of motivation. So what motivates you? If you want to get clean and sober, if you want to stay clean and sober, how motivated are you to do that? Do you want to get sober because you're tired of your life being there? If you feel like you're living in hell, are you tired of this circumstance that you keep finding yourself? Maybe you keep getting arrested every time you get drunk. You find yourself in jail. That to me would be a pretty good motivator. So how motivated are you? I hear this a lot in the rooms. People, they lose their homes, lose their family, lose the wife, the kids, the dog, the car, and they want them back, and they'll do whatever necessary to get them back. Those are pretty high levels of motivation. But then you got to start asking yourself, what's the effort, right? I remember when I came into the room, I didn't have any hope left. I'd already tried everything to stop drinking, and I just couldn't do it. I had given up hope. Hope was a foreign word to me, okay? I got with my sponsor, started working the steps. The more I stayed in the rooms, the more experience, strength, and hope that others shared with me, that gave me hope. Well, hell, I wanted what they had. These people had done it. Why can't I do it? It gave me hope. And because of that, I immediately went from 0 to 6, 7 on my level of motivation, right? And it was somewhere between my 3rd and 4th month, when I got through step 4 on to step 5, I just took off. My level of motivation changed. And so when we figure out where we are at, what that level of motivation is that we're at, we got to ask ourselves, is that sustainable? Can we stay at that level of motivation? In other words, the same level of motivation that I had, say, back in November of 21, do I still have that same level today? I can tell you I do. You know why? Because my goal today is still the same as what it was in November 2021, which was to make it to the end of the day, lay my head down on the pillow, sober. So that's my goal. And you know what? I am still just as committed to that goal as what I was back in November 2021. Period. If as I gave you that example where, I went from a level 7 on off the charts, if our level of motivation can increase, so too can it decrease. And I hear people say all the time, well, I lost my family, I lost my wife, lost my kids, and that's my level of motivation. That's what motivates me. Really? Okay, that sounds great. But the book Bill talks about on page 24, we are unable at certain times to bring into consciousness with sufficient force the memory of suffering and humiliation from even a week or a month ago. In other words, we may have humiliated our family, or we may have humiliated and caused ourselves suffering the last time we got drunk, the last time we used. We may have done that. And you would think, logically, rationally, that that would be a strong motivator to get us sober or to keep us sober. But he says right here, we're unable at certain times to bring into consciousness the memory of suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. What he means is, whenever, I remember the last time I got drunk and my kids crying to me and saying, "Dad, please stop, you're going to die." And I remember going, "Oh yeah, Bobby, I sure will." Because at the time that was motivation. But just a few hours later, there was a drinker from me and pick it up. All that went out my head. That left my memory, that left my consciousness. Bill tried, I think I counted like 5 times to get sober. And every time he relapsed. He tried it. He had his motivation to get sober, and he did for a while. He even said at one part in Bill's story, fear sobered him for a bit. Fear. That's a pretty good motivator too. Fear of dying. That was my good motivator. That was a good motivator for me. But even with all those motivations, and even though I had a high level motivation, it wasn't working. And that's because we are alcoholics. That's because we are drug addicts. That's because our brains are wired differently. All right. The addiction, the mind-altering substances, changes the fundamental structure of our brains. And so it's not taking that first drink. It's what happens after we take that first drink and we set it down. Then we start craving more, and we start craving more. All right. So it's a little bit different than saying, "Hey, I want to lose 20 pounds." All right. So we have our level of motivation, but Bill says that at the top of page 24, at a certain point in the drinking of every alcoholic, he passes into a state where the most powerful desire, no matter how high you are on that scale of motivation, the most powerful desire to stop drinking is of absolutely no avail. That means you could be really up there. And for us, when it comes to drinking and drug use, it could be to no avail. So what's the answer? He tells us on page 25 that we have had deep and effective spiritual experiences which have revolutionized our whole attitudes towards life, towards our fellows, and towards God's universe. That spiritual experience, that connection with God. And so this is a great way to close out step 2. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Are you really motivated to get clean? Are you really motivated to get sober? What's your level of motivation? And can you sustain it? Can you sustain it? And what are you doing to sustain it? I've asked a lot of people, how willing are you to get sober? Are you willing to go to any lengths possible? Are you willing to go to any lengths possible to get clean? But I also have to ask myself, am I willing to go to any lengths possible? What's my level of motivation to stay sober? And that's what I want to challenge you with. Ask yourself day in, day out, where am I at? Keep that in the forefront of your mind. Where am I at? How willing am I to get sober and to stay sober? To get clean and to stay clean. That's how we end up falling back into our old ways. I want to leave you this. My sister told me, I posted this on my Facebook page and I totally forgot about it. The fact that you aren't where you want to be should be enough motivation. And it is. It's a lot. It's a great motivation. But coming to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity, that was the spark. That was the spark that ultimately lit the flame. All right. I remember, and you may be in the same situation. Don't be surprised if you're asking God, if you're asking this power greater than yourself to move mountains. Don't be surprised when He hands you a shovel, because folks, it takes work, and He's expecting you to work. So anyway, with that, I'll leave you guys to the rest of the day. Hope you guys got something from this. And again, it's Wednesday, so my day's going to be crazy today. I figure tomorrow will be too. Wednesdays and Thursdays are always my worst. But anyway, just know I love you guys, and you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.